According to Riverside, only 44% of podcasts make it past 3 episodes and only 8% make it past 10 episodes. I'm at about 20 and I was ready to give up a few weeks ago. I went from having New York Times bestsellers, Ebony Power 100 honorees. I even had Carmelo Anthony make an appearance on my podcast, and I was ready to throw the whole thing away. My podcast was growing, interviews was doing pretty well, I was improving, I was even getting inbound requests from other businesses, which means I could monetize those connections. But behind the scenes, I was branding out from research, editing, clips, captions, the whole thing. But by the end of this episode, I'm going to show you the exact tool I use to help me lighten the load, understand how to get this off my plate, a few of the agents that I use, but more importantly, how you can use the exact same tool to handle any kind of busy work in your business. Quick background on how I run my podcast. Most of my guests come from LinkedIn because LinkedIn is highly verifiable. So you can vet some good guests over there. Now, I took a lot of pride in vetting those guests, but it's also a lot of busy work. While I was in the mix of doing the research and looking up high profile people or people who are really making moves and can share some insights for the audience here on the platform, that busy work felt good. Right? And a lot of times we wear that busy work as a badge. You booked and busy, you got a full calendar, you got a lot of stuff going on. It sounds like the right thing to do. It even give you a little bit of a dopamine hit because every time you check something off your list, your busy list, you feel a little good about it. But for founders like you and I, that dopamine hit comes with a price, man. It costs a bit, and I call it the busy work tax because it taxes you. It taxes your business. It drains your energy, and it really delays the important work that's going to grow your business and get you steps ahead. Now, for me, it was costing about 4 to 6 hours a week. That means a lot of my other work wasn't getting done. I was doing my editing in-house, so some previous episodes weren't getting edited. That was delaying my client connections. My content went stale because I wasn't able to drop clips or segments or even make original content to promote my actual business and brand. So all of this was costing me just because I was stuck in busy work. And busy work never feels expensive while you're doing it. That's why you got to be careful. That's what makes it so dangerous. Now, I'm as guilty of this as any other ambitious, obsessive founder. You stuck in the grind. People love to say they grind and they working long hours. They got a full calendar. They always making moves. But just because you got a full calendar and you always got something to do, it doesn't mean what you're doing is growing your business. A lot of times you're doing manual work, research, basically data entry. You going through some spreadsheets, checking out stuff, checking out your leads or some kind of dashboard, some copy and paste work, some work that you probably don't have to do in your business. And that is taxing you, is taxing your business, whether you count it or not. So I'm going to tell you exactly how I fixed this for myself in my podcast and how you can do the same thing in your business. Now, I went to AI, of course, and instead of just saying, hey, do this for me, I actually asked it, what can you do to help me with this problem I'm having around my podcast? I broke some of this down in a previous video where I used Perplexity to build out my agents. But that's what it did. It gave me instructions on some agents that it can create. The first agent was an agent to find prospects. The second agent was to do deep research on all of the guests who got booked in. I'm familiar with using AI, but I only built these agents because I took the time to see how much it actually costs to hire somebody to do this. And then I compared that to my self-imposed hourly rate. How much is this truly costing me, the way I have to show up in my business? How much is it costing me to be stuck doing this work? Because oftentimes we won't fix something in our business or in our life if we can't see it in dollars. And if you take that dollar amount and you spread it out over a year, you will see how much money you're wasting, but also, and what's more important, is how much financial potential you have access to. And once you see that number, you can't unsee it. Now, for me, all that podcast research and everything came up to about $30,000 a year. And the way I was able to figure that out was with this busy work tax calculator. So you can access this. The first link in the description doesn't cost you anything. You just go right in, start using the calculator. This is how it works. This came from my experience in doing payroll with having employees, having to clock their hours, their amount of time work, how many employees I have, all the things. So all you do is you go in, you put in your team size, you put in hours per person per week. So most people work part-time around 20 hours a week, right? And then the hourly cost per person or the hourly wage. In my juice bar, I had about 7 employees. Most of them were part-time. I had a couple full-time employees. Hourly wage was around $20. So that's 2 full-time salaries. If I was doing the busy work that was required for my juice bar, which was mostly like prep work, food prep, processing, pressing juices, those types of things, this is how much it would be costing me. So half of this, if it was just me and I can do the work of at least 2.5 people in my juice bar, that's $150,000, $145,000. Now for me and my podcast, I would just be hiring one person to get this done, and they may be spending about 20 hours a week on this. Now, somebody else may say it cost them $30 to do this editing, doing all of the clipping, all of the things, and this is how I came up with about $30,000. Now, this tool is free for you to access. First link in the description. I found this really helpful for me, so I figured why not share it, put you on so you can go and figure out how much is actually costing you to do whatever kind of busy work you have in your business. You may not have a podcast, but you may have something going on in your business that makes you feel like, yo, I'm ready to give up, man. I don't feel like doing this no more. This is killing me. And every time you put those types of things off in your business, it can damage your business. And that's not what we want to be. So go and take advantage of this busy work calculator. Protect yourself from the busy work tax. Like I said, once you see your number, you can't unsee it. I talk a lot more about how to use media and AI tools to grow your business without having a big budget or big team. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're digging the content. I'll check you out in the next one.